Today on our 2017 Mazda CX-9, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13284. So here's what our hitch looks like fully installed. It is going to tuck up nicely behind the bumper, and all we're really going to see is the receiver tube sticking out, so it's not going to distract from the way that our car looks. It is a Class 3 hitch, which means it's going to give us that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, and as you can see, it has a nice reinforced collar, giving it added strength and that nice clean finished look. Our hitch is going to use a standard 5/8 pin and clip. They're not included, but you can pick one up on our website using part number PC3. As far as the safety chain loops are concerned, it's going to be a plate style welded to the bottom of the receiver tube here. Now, we're not going to have too much trouble getting most size hooks on or off, but the smaller ones, because of the square profile, you may have a little bit more trouble getting it on certain angles. Our hitch is going to feature a 600-pound tongue weight, along with a 4,000-pound gross trailer weight rating. It's also rated to use with weight distribution systems, and it's going to jump the gross trailer weight up to 5,000 pounds, but the tongue weight's going to stay the same. Now, I do want to mention you always want to double check with your vehicle's owner's manual to make sure it can handle that amount of weight. I'd like to give you a few measurements to help you when deciding for accessories for your new hitch, such as a ball mount, bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 5 inches. Now, from the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening is going to be 13 3/4 inches. Now that we've gone over some of the details and benefits, let's show you how we get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to need to remove this plastic panel underneath our vehicle. There's going to be 2 plastic push pins holding it in place. I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver, and there's a couple notches on either side of the center section, and we're going to pry out the center section first. We're just going to release some of the tension off the clip, and once the center section is loose, we can pop out the outer section and the rest of the clip will come out. And we'll go ahead and repeat that for the other remaining fastener. Now, on each side of the panel, we're going to have 2 arms that are going to go up and 2 fasteners holding it in place. Now, I'm going to be using a 10mm socket to remove that bolt. And we'll go ahead and remove the other one as well. Now, at the top where our bolts were, there is a couple clips holding it in place, so you may have to give it a firm grab and pull for it to come down. It's not going to be going back in place because our hitch is going to be taking up all that space. We are going to have to lower our exhaust as well. Now, we're going to have 2 hangers on each side, one towards the tailpipe and one towards the front of our muffler. Now, to help get these off the hangers, I'm going to take a little bit of penetrating oil and I'm going to spray down the hanger just so it'll slide off the rubber isolator a little bit easier. Then we can slide the hanger off the rubber isolator. Now, before we let our exhaust completely fall down, you want to make sure that you support it so that it's not hanging on its own weight. I'll be using this strap to help support my exhaust. You can go ahead and remove the other 2 on the other side. If we look at the bottom of our frame here, we're going to have one large hole towards the very back, and that's going to be our access hole. And then if we go towards the front, just before our rubber isolator, we're going to have another oblong hole, and that's going to be where our hardware is going to be going in place. So we can take one of our fish wires with the coiled end. I'm going to put it into the forwardmost hole. I'm going to feed it back until I can get it to pop out of the access hole right here. Now, once we do, I'm going to give it a little bend just so I don't have to worry about it falling out. And we're going to take our spacer blocks. I'm going to feed my coiled end through the block. Then I'm going to take my 1/2" carriage bolts. I'm going to thread it onto the end of the coil. Then we can take our block, and I'm going to push the block into the frame, and then I can start pulling on my pull wire here until that my bolt drops through the block and comes down through the frame here. Now, our second attachment point is going to be our access hole. and we're going to get our hardware there inside just a little bit differently. So we're going to take our fish wire with the coiled end, and I'm going to take my spacer block and drop it down, take my 1/2-inch carriage bolt and thread it onto place, and this time I'm going to take my bolt and push it into the frame, push my spacer block into the frame, and then pull it so that the bolt is going to engage the spacer and let it hang down. Now we're going to leave our fish wires attached for right now, and we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process on the other side. With an extra set of hands, we're going to take our hitch and get ready to put it in place. We're going to take our pull wires and we're going to go through the corresponding holes in our hitch. Once we have our hitch in place, we can remove the pull wires. And we're going to take our 1/2-inch flange nuts and we're going to secure our hitch. Now for right now, I'm only going to put one in hand tight on each side. That way I don't have to worry about the hitch falling and it'll support itself, and then I can get the rest of my hardware in place. A little tip to help you if you're having trouble get the nut in place. If you take the bolt and you push it to the side, it'll trap it against the hitch, which should make it slightly easier to get the nut started. And then we can get the rest of the way on. I'm going to come back using a 3/4-inch socket, and I'm going to snug up all my hardware. And we'll repeat that for all the remaining hardware. Again, using a 3/4-inch socket, I'm going to come back and I'm going to torque all my 1/2-inch hardware to the specified amount in the instructions. We're going to go ahead and repeat that for all the remaining hardware. Finally, we can go ahead and put our exhaust back in place. Just want to lift up and slide the hangers back on the rubber isolators. And that'll finish up our look at the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13284 on our 2017 Mazda CX-9.